Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Becca and today we're doing some plant chores and hanging out, getting some stuff done, decorating the front area of my house. I'm really excited. I was clearing out footage on my memory card and I accidentally deleted the intro that I already filmed for this. And I spent like the last 30 minutes trying to recover the deleted file, but then I'd have to pay like $80 literally for an intro clip. So like, no, we're not doing that. We are just redoing the intro clip. So I'm glad that you're here with me. We're gonna get some stuff done today in this video, starting yesterday, but anyway, let's go back in time to yesterday and fix up my front porch area. And then right now I'm doing something else. So you're gonna meet me back up right here after you see yesterday's footage. Okay, see you there. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I stopped filming what I was doing after a while. After I did this, I was like, I just need to get this done. So I brought in all of the yard art that was over here. I distributed some leaves because, well, it's actually still really tall over there, but I moved some a little further down, and then I cleared out all of the pumpkins and all of that. And now this pot cluster, I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't love seeing it empty, but I'm also not gonna go through the effort of putting twigs and stuff in it. That's usually what I see people do. I'm not doing it. But I also don't really have anywhere to store it in the garage because the garage is pretty full. So, all that being said, my front door is very festive. I love it. I think it's so cute. I was able to mostly cover the command hooks. I mean, this one not so much, but this one is very well covered. You can't see it at all. And I love these little trees here because even after they die, they'll still look green, I think. I'm hoping. We will have to see. But this will probably stay like through January. And I don't really know. I don't think I do anything with the area again until summer when I put out my summer wreath. So I just think it's cute. I wish that I could have lights out here. I don't have any outlets on this side of the house. There is one over around the sliding glass door, but yeah, I don't want to run an extension cord that far. So we're just gonna not have lights. I mean, we never put up Christmas lights because you can't even see them. So there's no point. Like, we don't live in a neighborhood. So if we lived in a neighborhood, I would definitely be going all out for outdoor Christmas decor, but yeah, because people don't even see it, what's the point? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna take a breather and then I'm gonna go inside and do some repotting, I think, because I have a few more cactus that I still need to repot that are just residual. I didn't have pots for them, so we're gonna do that and some watering, of course. All right, I'm back inside now and I've taken a second to cool off. I don't know, I wasn't exactly warm, but I did warm up a little bit. Now I'm cold again. Got a headband in my hair because beanies absolutely annihilate my bangs. And I'm gonna do a few minutes of watering because in literally 7 minutes, I have to record for the podcast. So if you didn't know, I have a podcast with my two best plant friends, Adam and Nicole, My Clean Leaves and Not Dude. And it's just a ton of fun to hang out with them and do our podcast. And it's called Potted Together. If you've never listened, it's like 60 to 70% plant friends chatting and then like 20 to 30% plant knowledge and information. So yeah, we cover just like different random topics every week, and we are starting to record for season 6, which is really exciting. We do, I think it's like 2 seasons a year. So we've been doing this for like 3 years. It's a ton of fun and it's on like all the podcast players if you're interested in listening. But I am, as I said, I'm gonna do some watering because I really need to do it. And I have been trying to avoid doing like big watering days where I water like everything at once, just because that's honestly exhausting and I hate doing it that way. So I have been watering like 1 or 2 plants every day, but today is gonna have to be a little bit more of a bulky watering because some of my plants are looking really bad. Someone pointed out in my last video how sad this looks. This is after I've already watered it. Like, it has not perked up yet, but I watered it again because the soil already was looking like it was dry. Like, I watered it yesterday and it had not perked up and the soil was dry again. And I was like, okay, I really messed up on this one. I think it's gonna take a few days for it to come back, but honestly, let's normalize this happening to our plants when we just are not into plants right now. I've expressed a lot that I'm in a low phase of plants, and I've considered just like not making videos right now because I don't really have much to say that's positive about houseplants. But you still have to take care of them even if you're not super into it. Like, at least water them. So I'm doing the bare minimum basically, and unfortunately it's not gonna die or anything, but it definitely does not look good, but it'll perk up in the end. So anyway, as I said, I've just been grabbing a plant or 2 off my shelves and watering them on my planter potty down here. Normally I get the stand so that it could be like raised, but that's like an added level of commitment. But I think I'm gonna have to do that so that you guys can even see what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna repot today because this pot was way too small. Literally what was I thinking? It gets thirsty like almost every day because I put it in a pot that's too small. So we're gonna rectify that situation today. I will also never get over how convenient it is that this 5-gallon bucket fits so perfectly on one of my plant stands. Like, absolutely the perfect fit, and it brings it up to like a nice working height so that I'm not like bending over. Look at this. It just fits perfect. It's amazing. Okay, I thought that I was recording, so I was just talking to myself, which happens way too often. Anyway, I was saying that in the wintertime, I like to water my plants with warm water, and I'm not sure if this is necessarily a backed by science thing, but this room is a little cold compared to summer. Like, in the summertime, this room is probably in like the mid 70s. And then in the winter, it's usually like at the lowest, like 58-ish. So I like to keep it around 60 to 65 degrees ideally. But if it's like running a lot and getting kind of expensive to keep it that warm in here, then I'll move the little air thing to go down to like 58. Anyway, I like to use warm water because I feel like it warms them up. Again, I don't think that's backed by science or anything like that, but that is something that I do. I just, even in the summertime, I think I don't water them with like very cold water because I just don't want to shock the roots. I'll do more like room temperature in the summertime, and then in winter, I definitely err more on like cooled down bath water, like lukewarm water. I don't know. It's just something that I do. I'm gonna move this up because I cannot bend down like that. Also, I'm using my systemic, as I always do, my SNS 209. That systemic takes like multiple applications for it to be fully working on the plant. I think that the bottle says 6 or 9, I don't remember. But yeah, you need to use it like a lot of times in a row before it's like really, really effective. And I use it because I get spider mite outbreaks quite often if I don't have a systemic in place. And a systemic is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it besides like a vaccine or a vitamin or something like that. So like when the pest bites the plant has it like in themselves, the thing that will kill that pest. So if a spider mite bites into my plant that has been treated with a systemic, then that spider mite is going to ingest basically like a poison for them, and they'll die on impact, and it really slows them down quite a bit. The systemic that I use is a non-chemically based systemic, the SNS-209. I think it's just rosemary oil that is like the active ingredient that actually knocks them out. So I really like it. It smells nice, and I mean, you can't smell it because it's diluted so much. It's like a cap full for every gallon. So my watering can's 2 gallons, so I just do 2 caps of it. And it's really easy, like even in the times where I'm like doing the bare minimum, I can still manage to do that happily. Okay, I'm gonna do one more round of plants, and then your girl has to go record because I think, oh, no time. I'm just gonna do these 2. Oh wait, no, I'm repotting this one in a second, so I'm not gonna do that one. Okay, I have to go record for the podcast. I'm already 4 minutes late. This happens every time. I like think that I'm gonna be on time because I've been thinking about it all day. Oh wait, no, are we recording at 1 or noon? Okay, no, it's noon because they've already started the call. You guys, story of my freaking life. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Is that a macrame headband?
Yeah. Have you never seen this?
No.
I made it. I was gonna wear it on my wedding. I made it like for my wedding.
No way.
Yeah, but I didn't wear it, and now I just wear it every once in a while. Anyway, I'm vlogging right now. You guys should say hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi, vlog.
Hi, guys.
I was just watering, and I was telling them like, oh, I'm always late, so I'm keeping an eye on the time. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do like one more round of watering. And then I looked at my watch, it was like 12:04. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. I have to go. I'm gonna record the podcast. I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, this is the last day of filming this video because I've done a lot and I'm very proud of myself. Even though I did it over a couple of days, we still got a lot done. So now I have, the last thing I need to do is some repotting, and I need to clean this room because look at it. It looks like a bomb went off. We had our Potted Together event this weekend on Saturday. It's now Monday. And I literally turned it off and left because we were live on YouTube for like 4 hours. So when we were done with that, I was like absolutely wiped and I did not want to do anything. So this room definitely needs to be cleaned up. And especially after I finish repotting, I'm going to just like clean up a lot because I don't think I have much. I mean, something's going to come up, of course. But after I repot that stuff that needs to be repotted, I don't know if I have a ton else to do, you know what I mean? So let's tidy a little bit and then we're gonna repot and then do another tidy. So if you like tidying, we're doing it. So it's time to repot now that I've tidied. Thank God. I'm gonna do more things in this repotting session than I want to because I need to get things done and I'm tired of seeing plants in pots that are not nice ceramic pots. I need to see my plants in beautiful pots in order to feel happy right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I did a Q&A box on my, I did a Q&A box on my Instagram, and I'm gonna see if there's any questions that I did not get to that would be interesting. Have you felt more negative energy in the past few months? I've sensed a dark cloud over you. Wow. While well intended, that's not very nice. I guess I've been a little bit more quiet on socials just because, like, I don't know, when you're not that interested in plants and your entire page is about plants, kind of like, wow, what do I even talk about? So yeah, I have been a little bit more quiet on socials, so I can see maybe why someone would think that, but maybe don't tell someone that. Here's a fun one. Would you ever want to try out pottery, or did you try it out once? If so, how do you like it? Okay, so in 2023, as if I don't already have enough hobbies, I'm thinking that I am going to try pottery. Well, I'm not thinking it. I am going to try pottery. I signed up for a pottery class with a local studio, 6 weeks, starting in January, and I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a ton of fun to, you know, do something a little bit different. Honestly, the last thing, if we're being honest, the last thing that I need is another expensive, space-consuming hobby. But I feel like it would be really fun, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like a natural progression thing in houseplants. Like, I feel like with houseplants, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna try out macrame, I'm gonna try out, I don't know, like maybe building some furniture, and then pottery is another natural next step. Look at how beautiful that root system is. Can you see it? It's so lovely and developed. And I'm so pleased because this is a plant that I propagated from no roots. So I'm happy to see a success. I haven't done a ton of propagating lately. I've done a little bit of emergency propagating because plants were dying, but nothing like for fun like this one. This was a gift from a local nursery owner, and he was like, here, take a piece, see if you can make it live. And I was like, okay, I'll try. And it did. But yeah, so I signed up for pottery classes, like a beginner wheel throwing class. And to be honest, I'm not normally a person who, like, okay, how can I say this without like sounding like I'm already being negative? I'm fully aware that I'm not a very like artistic person in the way of like fine arts, like creating things with my hands. Like sewing is putting together pieces, so that feels easy. It's like assembling a puzzle. Knitting and crocheting feels very similar to that, but like pottery feels very much like drawing to me, and I am really bad at drawing, just like objectively really horrible at it. So I feel like it's gonna be a big challenge for me to, I don't know, try something that I'm probably honestly not gonna be very good at. And if I am good at it, it'll be a nice surprise and hopefully I enjoy it. But yeah, I did like sculpting stuff in the past, like with clay at home, and it just went really bad. Like it wasn't fun, and I just don't really have the eye for it. So I figured this would be like a fun challenge for me to try out. And if it goes bad, it goes bad. Like, I don't know. It was like $190 for 6 weeks of classes. I felt like, okay, let's just try it. Why not? Okay, here's a hot question. Any regrets about the greenhouse build or things that you would change? Okay. I guess I'm semi-ready to address this on YouTube because it's a little embarrassing. But I feel like building the greenhouse at this point in time, to the magnitude and the scale that I did, was probably not my smartest decision. I'm definitely glad to have the experience, but just knowing that this is not going to be our forever home, and I've built a forever home type of greenhouse, is a little bit sad because I know that we're going to leave this home. I don't know when, so nobody freak out. Like, knowing that I've basically built somebody else's dream greenhouse is bittersweet. I think sometimes I get a little sad because the general interest in the greenhouse process hasn't been what I thought it would be. And not to say that I've built it for other people, I've definitely built it for myself, but you know, it is a business expense and it's been like a business venture. And when that business venture hasn't had the type of public, I don't know, excitement that I thought it would, it's a little bit like, did I make a bad decision here? Using business funds to fund something that really isn't all that popular. Like the videos do not get as many views as I thought they would, for example. And that could be for a number of reasons. I feel like what also contributes to that is how far apart all of the parts have had to be, because there's been other YouTubers who have made greenhouses, for example, like DIY Danny, and all of her videos were able to come out like in really tight succession. And because of that, there is, well, also because her channel is like megawatts bigger than mine, but there's just a lot more interest in the content because she's able to pump it out so quickly. And I feel like, I don't know, public interest is really reliant on timing. And so looking at it from like a business perspective, I'm like, yeah, Becky, probably wasn't the smartest thing you could have done. So I do have regrets in that, but I don't regret building it because I have learned so much about building structures. Like we basically built a house, you know, if we put like housing siding on it, it would be a house, you know what I mean? And like windows and all of that. But the entire thing is windows. So, because it's a greenhouse, obviously. But yeah, I think all in all, I'm really glad for the experience that I've had building the greenhouse and all of the people who have had a hand in building the greenhouse and been like so sweet and supportive. That has been really cool to see, like my, I don't know, my family and my friends and just like people in my life come around and help out. That's been really sweet. But yeah, I do think that I could have been smarter and made it the original size that I was planning, which was a lot smaller. I think it would have been done by now, number one. And number two, it wouldn't have felt like such a huge undertaking. But because of just the sheer size of it, it's 24 feet long, which is very big for just like, you know, a couple of inexperienced people to just build. Yeah, and I also, in the process of deciding how I wanted to handle the greenhouse, like what type of structure I wanted, I was toying with the idea of doing like a prefabricated greenhouse where I pay a lump sum, it's delivered, I don't have to worry. I just worry about the foundation and then I worry about like the ventilation. I wish that I did that, but I didn't initially do that because it was a little bit of a sticker shock. But I think that if I did end up doing that, I would have spent about the same amount of money, if not a little bit less. So there's that. Because what I thought is when I calculated out all of the expenses, I didn't realize that lots of unexpected expenses can occur. Things change, like, I don't know, prices can't always be fully predicted like months and months in advance. And I don't know, those are my greenhouse regrets. Would I do it again? Yes, but in a different way. That's my answer. Now this plank is very long and I'm finally potting this plant up out of moss. And I hope that that gives it, like obviously it's gonna get nutrients from the soil. So I'm hoping that that helps it push out some growth because, I mean, it's been focusing on root growth. We do have quite a bit of, not like a huge robust root system, but we do have like a pretty good root system. So I'm hoping that as long as I keep it a little bit more moist than I normally would, I'm hoping that it will develop nicely in this pot. And this is just the pot that it was in before I propped and chopped. And I'm just putting it right back in. So yeah, we're hoping for the best here. This plant was one of my best growers. It's a philodendron splendid. And I think that we have some high hopes for her. We're really hoping for the best. I left some of the sphagnum moss on the roots just because I didn't want to fully like strip it. So it's pretty wet, so I'm not gonna water it for a couple days, but I will go in a couple days to give it some water and a drink and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, hopefully this whole pole will be full. And this thing goes like all the way up to my ceiling fan. It kept like hitting my ceiling fan, so she's really big. Now, Miss Ma'am is getting the upgrade she deserved on day one. I, for some reason, thought that this plant would be okay in this tiny little pot. And that is absolutely not the case. She needs a large and in charge pot, which is exactly what I have here. I got this at Helmy's, my local nursery, a couple days ago. I think it's a beautiful pot. It was $25 for the pot and the saucer, which I love. It's really pretty. I'm actually considering going and getting more because they also, well, they had this color and they had like a black color, and I don't tend to like super dark pottery like that, but I might get another one of these light colored ones. We'll see where we end up after I'm done like repotting all of this. Okay, next question is plant room fire. Oh no, you can only save 5 plants. What are they? Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, I would save my Albosingonium. 100%. That plant is one of my OGs. It means the world to me. Look at this. It just pops right out. We're just gonna transfer that. This plant is also so thirsty, but I've been waiting to water it until I repotted it. So, and that's taken like a few more days than I expected. So you can imagine that she is just like, Mom, I'm really thirsty. I would save my variegated Carnosa compacta back here up. If you can see it, it's over there. That's definitely one I would save. Probably both of my variegated monsteras, so my Thai Constellation and the Albo. I might just take cuttings of those though. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like spring for the entire pot. I just might take cuttings because, well, if I can, as if I'm like having time to like get my shears and like a cup of water. I don't think I would, but yeah, those ones I don't need to bring the whole pot. I would feel okay just like cutting a piece of it. And then the last one out of this room, oh, I would grab my Billy because that was gifted to me by Adam. But like, then I have all the other plants in the house and other parts of the house where I'm like also very sentimentally attached to those. But if I can only save from the plant room, those would be my selections for sure. But that's a really hard question because there's a few plants in my collection that are just like very, very special to me. And I would be absolutely devastated to have to part with them. So, I mean, to be honest though, if there was a house fire, I would be grabbing my dogs. I would leave the plants. Like my plants would be like very, very secondary to like my important documents and my dogs. And of course my husband, but he can fend for himself. Okay, she's done. She looks really good. I think with water, it'll perk up a little bit more, but in the meantime, I'm probably gonna strap this all up with some plant braces because this plant has been really annoying me, to be honest, because it literally is vertical, or not vertical, horizontal. And I keep hitting it every time I go into this room and it's really annoying. And I really hate when plants are like this, which I knew that it would be like this, so I'm kind of silly for having it, but you can strap up plants like this, like gently, and they'll be fine. And it's not a big deal. You know, you're just doing a little bit of training. It'll never sit up like this on its own, most likely, but I can just hold it like this with like a Velcro strap and it'll be totally fine. It's just a personal preference when it comes to plant aesthetic. I just don't like when they're sprawled out like that. It just takes up so much space and it's just really annoying to handle. I'm actually gonna take this to the sink and water it like right now, so I'll be right back. All right, now onto the big scary, which really isn't that scary, but I feel like she needs care or else she's gonna kick the bucket on me. So we gotta do something quick. This is a Madagascar Ocotillo. I got this when I was in Tucson, as I did with like pretty much all my cacti. Look at this pot I got from Helmy's as well. Isn't that so pretty? It needs a drainage hole, so I'm not gonna use it today, but it's really pretty. I don't know what I would put in here because obviously the round shape is like kind of hard when it comes to rehoming the plant, but I don't know. I still like it. I think it's really pretty. Okay, for the Ocotillo, I just grabbed this like basic long cylindrical terracotta pot. I don't usually go for long terracotta pots like this, but I felt like this would be an exception because I needed the pot to have more weight than the actual plant because cactus tend to be kind of top heavy. Their root systems aren't super heavy, although this one might be. It might have been in this pot for a really long time, but in general, their root systems are not usually as robust as what's happening on top. So I do tend to, if the plant is like tall, I do tend to go for taller or like just heavier pots in general. That's just about what I was expecting for the root system. So I'm just gonna kind of be careful. This one does have spines. It's not really, or not spines, it has thorns, and I find thorns way easier to handle just in general. Look how nicely that soil is falling away. This is like a nice chunky perlite mix. And the perlite pieces are quite large. I feel like that's why it's able to stay intact pretty nicely like that. I'll switch into cactus soil for this one. It's all potted up, and I put a little support stick right here. I need to find a tie to put around it just so it isn't like leaning, but yeah, that one's all done. Okay, this question is, do you like holiday houseplants like the Christmas cactus, Norfolk Island pines, etc.? Okay, I do, but I don't have any currently. I had a Norfolk pine for like a year and a half, I think. I bought it in 2020 when I moved here. I saw them like everywhere, and I decided to finally get one, and it did pretty well, but it just needed a lot more humidity than I had to offer it. So I feel like, which is like a crazy thing to say because I live in such a humid place. I did not know that would even be possible. But I mean, my house does get pretty dry around, you know, this time of year. We have a wood burning fireplace. You know how it is. It did all right for a period of time, and then I was just like over it, and I think I just slowly let it die, unfortunately. But on the realm of Christmas cactus, I do like Christmas cactus. Again, I don't have any. Oh gosh, what is going on with this soil? Icky looking soil. But yeah, so I don't have anything of that sort currently, but I don't know if I'm gonna make room for that in my collection. It's not really like something that really screams my name, but I was gifted one by my grandma a couple years ago, and it lived for a while, but then I just started neglecting it. Sorry, Grandma. It just wasn't like all that intriguing to me, so I'd say like, yeah, they're interesting when they're blooming, but if it's not blooming, I'm kind of like bored with it, you know? Every time I repot a cactus, it's never in the center of the pot. I can't do it. There's something about me that like is like, actually that's a little bit too straight. We need to make it off center. Oh, it's a character flaw, really. It's so annoying. I wish that I would want to redo it, but no. I'm not gonna redo it. She looks good. Let me do a walkthrough. Ooh, that one needs to be repotted really bad, but I don't know if I have a pot for it. See, the never-ending situation of needing a bigger pot. It's just, it never ends. This plant could really use a repot, but I feel like this pot is gonna be not much different. See, I always end up doing this. I use something that I have, and then it's like, I might as well have not even repotted it because it's like not even that different, but you know what? I am gonna do this one because it is literally falling out of that pot. We're gonna help her a little bit. What this plant really needs is a plank, but I don't know if I have any like on hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a bamboo stake and just put it up on that so I can start training it to be straight, because in its growth, it has started to lean quite a bit. It's been needing something to climb for a long time, and if you don't give a climbing plant something to climb, it's just gonna start leaning. So the stem is a little crooked, and I would like to get that like looking like more like this, but you want to do it slowly so it's not too big of a shock for the plant. Oh, you know what? I think this pot size is actually perfect for right now. So a little bit of pot roulette worked out this time. I like the idea of this one. Get it real close to the root system here. We'll put it on that. That should help it get started on its journey to a plank, because it will need a plank very, very soon, and it needs to be dusted. She is so dirty. All right, and after a thorough look around, I've concluded that I have repotted everything that I can think of right now. Now, my greenhouse cabinet is gonna need some maintenance relatively soon. I am probably going to be buying some new stuff for that relatively soon. So I'm going to make that its own video situation because I haven't ordered anything yet. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me these last couple days doing plant chores. I feel like I'm getting back into plants. Like I'm slowly creeping back. Like doing my plant chores many days apart actually did help me, because sometimes it feels like everything at once, and that is very overwhelming when you're like not into it. So I think this has helped me inch a little bit closer to being back as the plant loving gal that I normally am, which again, I just want to normalize having phases of your life where you're like not that into certain things that you normally really love. It could be due to like seasonal depression, or it could just be our brains are not meant to be like on task on all of the things all at once. So I think it's very normal, and I always want to normalize like having phases where you're like, So if you are in one of those phases and you're still watching my videos, just want to give you a big thank you. Thank you for supporting my channel and just being my friend. Honestly, it's really fun to get on here and get this kind of stuff done, knowing that I have friends out there watching and doing these things as well. It makes me feel a little bit less lonely, because you know, life can be lonely sometimes. So thank you guys for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.